I just released a video talking about how you don't need something quite this gargantuan to get into vintage computing, and it's true, you don't. Shuttles like this, perfect. But they do have their limitations. For example, the I/O. It only has 2 USB ports, 2 FireWire, a couple serial. You can't really upgrade this very much either. It only has the 2 slots, one AGP, firmly pressed up against the nearly solid sidewall of the case, and one single PCI slot. It's not very upgradable is what I'm saying. CPU? Sure. No problems there. Power supply? You're limited to Flex ATX, but they do make some pretty decent ones these days. But that's kind of it. You can't add a whole bunch of stuff. Additionally, it is lacking some features. Let's say that you want to put a sound blaster in there. Okay, you've put a sound blaster in there. Not a big deal. You want to put a graphics card in there to get better than the presumably S3 onboard graphics. Okay, done. What if you want a second hard drive? Well, you got to sacrifice your DVD drive to get that. If you don't want to, you're kind of out of luck. You can probably fit one. Maybe. That's a big maybe. Even if you wanted to put a second SSD in there, number one, you'd need a converter. But that motherboard only has one IDE port, and it's shared between the CD drive and the hard drive. Upgrade options, I'm saying, are limited. They're also notorious for having just really bad airflow. So these cases, in addition to airflow, they make for upgradability. Let's take an example here. What I have here is a fairly bog standard 440BX motherboard. Got a Pentium 2 in there right now. It supports Pentium 3s, but I have a Pentium 2. 3 RAM slots, 2 IDE, 1 floppy. Nothing super crazy. It doesn't have onboard video, so let's fix that. Okay, we've added a video card. Now let's say that you have a couple things that need a parallel port or a couple of serial ports, more than just what comes with the motherboard. Okay. There you go. On board. On the board, I should say. You need some FireWire, maybe some USB. There you go. It's already past what the other one could do. Now let's get a good sound card in there. There you go. Got wavetable support, all that stuff. Now let's say you really want to start messing around with SCSI. This won't even fit physically in that shuttle case. Now let's say, hypothetically, now that you've got yourself a pretty decent system, you want to get online. This is why they make large cases. There are even some boards that have more expansion slots than this, allowing you to, hypothetically, add some Wi-Fi in there. Doesn't necessarily have to go above the graphics card, but I think you get what I mean. You can't do that with a small case. So there are some legitimate reasons for having a big case beyond just looks. You have much more expansive options for power supplies. You can fit better cooling in there, not just in the case, but you can fit if you're doing something that isn't a cartridge-based Pentium 2, let's hypothetically say Pentium 4, you can fit larger tower-style coolers in there. You cannot do that in a shuttle. In fact, that's a proprietary cooler. You can't do any other coolers in a shuttle. You can fit, let's say your graphics card has a wider cooler. You can't put that in a shuttle. You can put it in here. Now we just put a blank here. You got some room for the cooler. No big deal. There are many legitimate reasons for having a large case. Additionally, You can fit a ton of hard drives in this. And I mean a ton. I think this thing takes 10 hard drives, which is insane. And you can, of course, put more up where the optical drives go. So, really cool. That is one of the reasons I love these big cases. And I know this is kind of a short video where I ramble a little bit about why bigger is better. It's not, it's just they specialize in different things. I wanted to get this video out there so people weren't confused by my last video. There are legitimate reasons to go bigger or smaller. If you have a lack of space, this ain't for you. But the shuttle might be. If you need the expandability, well, these do exist. They're plentiful, they're easy to get. So, there we go. Yeah, I think I finally made a short video. Thanks for watching, and thanks to my Patreon supporters.